Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Tempe, Arizona and the Mountain America Community Iceplex. On behalf of my partner, Brett Vaughn, I am Niall Cooper, and we are ready for some exciting ASU ACHA Division I hockey here, Brett. Last night, both these two teams, Arizona State and the University of Oklahoma, had a very spirited contest, and I think Arizona State left the rink with a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth. For Arizona State to get back on the right foot tonight and get a win on home ice, what do you think we need to see out of them?
I think it's going to be important to watch the first 5 minutes of the start of this game. Arizona State came out really flat. That ended up really carrying over throughout the game, where it was tough. It was an uphill battle. They're always having to come back, a goal down, 2 goals down. And so it'll be important to watch how they start tonight's contest.
And on the other side of the rink, the University of Oklahoma, they started last night really well, showed no ill effects of some bus legs from the long trip out here to Arizona. For the University of Oklahoma, you're going to expect to probably see a better effort tonight from Arizona State. And what do you think they're going to have to do to get over the hump and get the sweep on the weekend?
I think for them it's going to be staying out of the box. They had a lot of penalty trouble. That's what led to Arizona State to come back early in that third period. And so if they can just stick to the basics, they're a really good, simple team doing those fundamentals. That's when they play great. And so for them, it's just to be a little more disciplined. And I think for them, it's going to make it a tough contest for Arizona State again tonight.
Well, it should be a fun one, folks. Puck drops just around the corner. Anthems are up next here on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube.
Defense, number 4, Alex Kagan. At left wing, number 71, Kaden Martin. At center, number 16, Carson Spear. At right wing, number 12, Tristan Glass. And in goal this evening, number 30, Grayson Payne. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for head coach Johnny Walker's Arizona State Sun Devils. At left defense, from Kelowna, British Columbia, number 15, Ty Marchant. At right defense, from St. Louis, Missouri, number 20, Luke Shakes. And left wing, number 21, from Flagstaff, Arizona, Carson Cooch. At right wing, from Atlantic Beach, New York, number 2, Connor Swery. At center, from St. Louis, Missouri, number 13, Ben Shakes. And between the pipes, number 31, from Cary, North Carolina, Dave Glenn. And this time we'd ask you to please rise if you are able. Kindly remove your caps and join us as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
And folks, as we're just about ready to get underway here in Tempe, Arizona, a quick look at the starting goaltenders for tonight's game for the visiting University of Oklahoma. Between the pipes tonight, number 30, Grayson Payne. He was on the bench last night, watched a spectacular effort from Bredden Forden between the pipes. Number 30 will man the blue paint tonight. On the other end of the ice, in the white and gold for Arizona State, number 31, Nathaniel Glenn, the North Carolina native, getting back on the ice. And last time we saw him, Brett, he looked very sharp for the Sun Devil group, and I suspect he'll have to see a lot of rubber tonight.
Yeah, he definitely did. And for, again, the Sun Devils, if you missed the pregame show, it's going to be important for Arizona State to get on a good start, not on their heels, on their toes, once this opening puck drop commences. And hopefully their goaltender will not have to face too much rubber tonight.
Both teams are set. Linesmen and officials are ready as Ben Chase leans into the draw against Carson Spear. The puck is dropped and we are underway in Tempe, Arizona. Arizona State winning that opening face-off. A good night last night here at the Iceplex for the Sun Devils in the face-off dot. However, Oklahoma picks it up in the offensive zone. Back at the point, Carr shot through traffic, blockered away into the corner, glass back on it for Oklahoma. He'll pivot down low, takes a hard check from Chase. He'll dig out the puck. A good job by Arizona State to get off of their heels early and get it down deep. Squeary below the goal line, can't keep control of the puck. Oklahoma skating it ahead. Having a hard time getting through the neutral zone with Spear. And at his own blue line, Friesen will slow it down, and Arizona State back on the puck.
I like what head coach Shawnee Walker did to start the game with one of his bottom two lines out there with Carson Cooch spearheading it and Connor Squarey. They had some great compete effort that we saw in last night's game to really set the tone here for tonight.
No icing as Arizona State gets in the far right corner. Friesen will pick it up. That puck whacked towards the front of the net. And the first save of the night for Grayson Payne. And you mentioned compete partner. Last night that was something that the Sun Devils really struggled to find out of the gate. But they look a little sharper here early on in this opening frame.
And not necessarily maybe just going ahead and getting scoring chances, but you really want to make sure that you're winning those loose puck battles. You're always the first to the puck. You're always out manning where that puck is, so you can always dictate where that puck's going to be throughout the ice. And then hopefully more dangerous opportunities for you offensively coming from that.
And the right face-off dot, Kylie Ram will lean in. And for the first time tonight, we will see on that puck right there, number 4, Cade Olson for Arizona State. Good to see him back after a huge check he took a few weekends ago against GCU.
Yeah, he was out of the lineup last night as a precaution, but it's great to see one of the veteran leaders on this Arizona State roster out there and contributing.
Brady Franklin, his chip won't go all the way. He'll come back, play it right up across the blue line. Sun Devils trying to stay on. They just do. Pushing it down low. King back behind the net, up to the point, fresh off the bench. A shot from Chadwick. Blocked into the corner. Oklahoma outmans Arizona State on the puck. Carr will just try to chip it up the half wall. Coming in to help out is Bells. Back on the stick of Carr. He'll push it up ahead. Davidson. An errant puck finds the stick of Kylie Ram, and Arizona State now has a chance to finish off that change.
Again, so far so good for Arizona State. Unfortunately, it's going to be an icing call as that Ford was not able to tip that puck in to negate the icing. But for the Sun Devils last night, they did a great job in the face-off circle here. We're going to see the Sun Devils operate. It will be Jake King for the Sun Devils in the circle.
And it's the Sooners who win it. Back to the point. That shot deflected through traffic. A similar story already early tonight. The Sooners loving to get those point shots with men in front of the net, trying to block the view of Nathaniel Glenn. Arizona State gives chase. They'll corral the puck now. And Ty Marchand on it. A goal last night for him. Arizona State chips it in behind the defense. That puck works out into the left corner, up into the slot. Oklahoma, active sticks, trying to knock it away. That squirts out to the point. Chase the shot, deflected. Still on it, the Sun Devils. Chase through traffic, blocked away by the Oklahoma defense. And they'll gain the center line and just dump it in. Glenn knocks it down, throws it back up the wing. The puck bouncing all around that blue line. Oklahoma onside for the moment. But turnovers continue to plague the Sooners as soon as they get in the offensive zone. Arizona State back the other way. That pass to the front of the net wouldn't go. Franklin knocks it down at the blue line. He'll rip one through traffic, blocked away. The goaltender takes a tumble. And we'll have a whistle here as both teams getting a little familiar, Brett. Some of that physicality we saw last night starting to show up early tonight.
Both teams very protective in front of their respective goaltenders' creases, as we saw there. The Devils are driving hard to the net and maybe a little too hard. It looks going to be coincidental minors between Kagan for Oklahoma and Carson Cooch for the Sun Devils. Team referee group that we saw last night as well. That's also a benefit when reffing. If you can benefit from reffing that first game into the second game, you can kind of have a good read on where both teams are with each other. And with these two early coincidental minors, they're really trying to keep a lid on this game early.
And Brett, we saw both penalty boxes open, but it'll be the Sun Devils who emerge with a power play here. The scorekeeper calling the ref over to get a confirmation on the official call right now.
I think you might be right, as the scorekeeper is just getting some clarification. And I think the Sooners were the ones that instigated that altercation, which leaves them with taking a roughing call, which is going to allow Arizona State to operate on that power play.
Time of all penalties.
Kagan, a finance major, will have to round up there on a double minor. He'll sit for the extra two. Arizona State on the power play. Less than 4 minutes into this game, the first man advantage opportunity for the Sun Devils.
I'd like to see if they made some changes from last night's power play tactics of being a little more deliberate with the puck when they get it in, not stick around in the perimeter and the offensive zone, but really try to go ahead and penetrate and force that Oklahoma defense to spread out.
And the Sun Devils down low, trying to seal the half wall. They get numbers on the puck, but it's Oklahoma who's able to chip it all the way down. Ty Marchand will build up ahead of steam. Look for the drop pass. He gets it over to Newland. Newland slings it over to King. Back on it. He'll button hook in the corner. Try to get it back up to the point. Good job by Oklahoma, though, once again to pickpocket Arizona State and get it cleared.
Too bad. I really liked that breakout when they were coming into the zone, but just couldn't really get anything going once they're trying to set up.
Arizona State, they have the puck in the offensive zone this time. Back up now. King, he'll size one up, rip one on. And Grayson Payne will make no mistake there as he squeezes that for a stoppage.
See the second power play unit come out for head coach Shawnee Walker, and I think he's still trying to toy around with these line combinations. We saw on the forward groupings last night, they've really jumbled up since the start of the season, and we're even seeing here too, which is great. A lot of opportunity for players to get on the power play.
That shot saved by the leg pad of Payne, and now Oklahoma will skate it the other way. The assistant captain, Glass, takes it all the way into the corner, back into the slot, all alone, shot from point-blank range, and Glenn makes the save.
Dangerous opportunity for the Sooners there. They had a man wide open in the middle of the slot. Probably the worst area to leave a opposing player open, but good save by Glenn.
And that were the brothers, Tristan feeding Carson Glass in the slot. And luckily for the Sun Devils, Nathaniel Glenn saving their bacon as the man advantage expires for Arizona State. Kylie Ram on it, working down low behind the net, gets it all the way back up to Franklin. Franklin, he'll walk the line, feed Cade Olson. Olson on his backhand into the slot. That pass broken up. The Sooners the other way with speed, maybe an odd man rush. With it is Blake. Blake into the middle of the ice, all alone. 1-2, touch pass, shot, and a save by Glenn. He tries to find it. Arizona State emerges with it, and they'll send it all the way down the ice.
Unbelievable stop by Creasy. Oklahoma taking advantage of getting that turnover with that odd man rush, and Creasy was able to wait out the shot.
And that'll be held on to by number 31, Glenn. Ryan Carr, once again, we've seen him on the ice quite a lot early on in this game. He was quite a focal point of last night's game in many ways.
He definitely was that smooth skating defenseman. He's able to start the rush with a clean breakout pass, but he also has the skill to jump in offensively.
Marchant. One off the high glass. Arizona State will pick it up. Maybe a 2-on-1. As that shot ski balls over the goaltender. Oklahoma skates it ahead once again with speed. They'll look to just dump it in. Set up in the forecheck. As they squeeze Marchant down to the far side, he'll elect to send a deep diagonal pass. Chase picks it up behind the net. Chase on it on his backhand. Throws it in the front. Turnaround shot. Save off the stick of Squarey.
Great hustle by Chase. He goes back to the bench. Well-deserved break for him, getting that forecheck started.
Sun Devils force a turnover in the neutral zone, but have to chip it in as they touch up for the offsides. Luke Chase breaks that pass up. Parmar now surveys his options. Right-hand defenseman skates it ahead, dishes it off to the wing. The Sun Devils trying to work through that Oklahoma forecheck. Will chip it into the corner. The goaltender way out to play it. Payne rips it up the half wall, and he'll scurry back to his goal. The Sun Devils emerge with the puck. Backhand shot, saved by Payne. We have a man down back behind the play, however. And it is an Oklahoma player.
There looked to be a couple of bodies tangled up in that rugby scrum there on the half wall. And it looked to be just a tough check. Might have been given by a possible Arizona State player as we try and show you the replay courtesy of the production extraordinaire, Dr. Ben Smith.
That was number 48, Nate Payne.
Referees huddling now. They didn't call a penalty initially. They just stopped the play in order to help the trainer get a chance to look at the Oklahoma player.
The fifth-year senior from Boxford, Massachusetts, will slowly make his way back to the bench with the help of the training staff for Oklahoma. Arizona State will pick it up in the corner. Back up to the point. Parmar dishes it to his D partner. Chadwick gets his pocket picked, however. Sun Devils will touch up. Carr, the slick skating defenseman. A nifty high IQ play by him, and Oklahoma in behind the defense. Chadwick has to play that one smartly, and he does. Another turnover in the neutral zone. Here comes Oklahoma. Chadwick, the first one there for Arizona State, as Narvaez gives chase. At the point, that chipped out with speed. King trying to get after it as he gives heavy chase on Carr. And you see that great edge work from Carr there to evade King. That edge work reminded me a lot of my partner Brett Vaughn back in his playing days. Oklahoma deking around the defense. That shot on, saved by Glenn. He'll push in the corner. Franklin, he has a headman. He'll feed him with speed. Arizona State back the other way. King in the middle. The shot on, save, rebound. Save again by Payne. Third opportunity kicked away. And Oklahoma giving up maybe the best chance of the game so far to Arizona State on a long shift from that forward group. The Sooners back on it. That half-wall shot blocked down by Franklin. Kylie Ram. He'll feed it up to Butler. Caden Butler in front to Kylie Ram, just out of his reach. And the Sooners back on it now. Glass, the assistant captain, wanted to get that puck back from the blue line as he dishes a big check to Luke Chase back behind the play. Caden Butler now, onside for Arizona State. He'll walk in, toe drag shot into the corner. And Oklahoma will just clear it out into the neutral zone.
Good back and forth action, similar to what we saw last night. And again, good pace so far.
A good couple shifts put together by this Sun Devil group. As Sun Devils will chip it in. Payne coming out to play it once again. Way out of his net, I should add. As the Sun Devils dig into the corner. Friesen now. Tried to do a whip around pass. But Oklahoma outmanned him. A big check laid at the blue line. Oklahoma in around the defense. Glenn has to poke check it. Thrown back in front. No one there except for Cross for Arizona State. Marchand, he'll walk it in with Friesen. Marchand elects for the shot. Knuckle puck, and the goaltender pushed it into the corner. The physicality picking up in this game. Not surprising after what we saw these two teams do a night ago.
Sun Devils have kept their energy going. Really enjoying this so far, this performance they're putting in.
That shot from Chadwick Squeary whacking away at it. And a quick whistle saves Payne the trouble of having to cover that one up.
Arizona State generating a lot of offensive scoring opportunities, especially that one rush we saw with Butler and King getting 3 whacks at the puck right in the blue paint, all generating from them, not wasting much time in the neutral zone, going north with the puck, straight with the puck, and really putting that Oklahoma defense on their heels.
Chadwick. He'll elect to walk it down off of the faceoff victory by Arizona State. Back on it, Chadwick. He'll touch it down low. Picked up by Kagan for Oklahoma. His Carr on it. He'll push it ahead now. And the Sun Devils picked it up at the blue line, but they were not onside. And this faceoff will come back into the neutral zone. Arizona State already 11 shots on goal as we just passed 11 minutes played in this first period. A far cry from what we saw early last night.
Exactly, and give kudos to Oklahoma, even though they're taking a good punch by this Arizona State team right now. They're defending, not breaking, and they've also generated a couple dangerous chances on their own.
An exciting affair here early in Tempe, Arizona. We thank all of you for tuning in tonight. Butler has Carr giving chase. After a few tries, he gets it ahead. Kylie Ram across the blue line. He'll cross over, poked away, loose down low. Butler goes for the hit, but gets a hit back and ends up on his rear end. Butler now down low to Kylie Ram, push back in front. Chadwick activates, rips one, blocked away into the corner. Parmar on it now. Gets some help by Butler, and Oklahoma forces that one out.
Good jump to this line as well with Kylie Ram on here. This is a different line than what we saw yesterday.
Kylie Ram takes a big check. King lifts the stick of Carr. Carr walks it around the defense. He'll get knocked down. Carr looking for a call. None coming.
I think Franklin might have gotten a little fortunate there as Carr pulled a nice deke move around him and got taken down.
Imala, a goal scorer in last night's affair. He'll try to keep it alive. The Sun Devils clear it out now. Walking across the blue line and a hard wrister by DeVillers. That one goes whistling wide off the glass. And Oklahoma back the other way. Right in the slot, a shot blocked away by Olsen. As Glenn will glove that one down.
Great shot by DeVillers. One of the newer Arizona State players. Haven't seen him too much yet into his ACHA career, but that was a really great wrist shot by him. He spent no time dilly-dallying with the puck. Once he crossed that blue line, he just absolutely ripped it, and with a great release, almost catching Oklahoma off guard.
Ben wins it, gets it back to his brother Luke, and the Chase brothers push it ahead for Arizona State. Ben on it, he'll gain the red line, chip it in. Down low, Connor Squeary, the first one after the puck. He'll eat a hard check back behind the goaltender. Squarey trying to emerge with the puck. As he's on it right now. Squarey takes another check, gets knocked down as he's going down. Across the blue line now, number 14, Blake. He'll get it poked away from his stick. Marchant. Backhand feeds Chase. Chase goes up to Squarey, and the Sun Devils will get it in.
Like the defensive plays so far from Marchant. We always talk about his offensive game, but he's done a great job pinching at the blue line, not allowing Oklahoma forwards to come in scot-free.
That Oklahoma forward does get in scot-free. A heavy wrist shot from Wolf, the defenseman, as he walked past everyone. Wolf, another shot from the point. Glenn, once again, forced to cover that one up.
And that's something I'd like to see the rest of the Arizona State defensive core really work and focus on, as if you can really take away that time and space from the opposing forward, you know you're going to have your fellow teammates, that forward group and forward lines, hustling back on the back check to try and negate any offensive chances against you.
Tie up off the draw. Parmar chips it off the glass. King knocks it down. King around the defense, first onto the puck. He'll stop up, get stapled along the glass. Sun Devils keep it alive, however. Parmar thought about jumping in from the point. King will just whack it behind the net. Payne looks over his shoulder as the Sun Devils try to dig it out from Gretzky's office. Parmar, the point shot, deflected through traffic, wide of the net. King lays a check, and Oklahoma will chip it out, just go for a quick change.
Tough penalty in the offensive zone, as Jay King's going to be going to the box for holding. And of course, that's a cardinal sin in hockey, of taking a penalty in the offensive zone. And for Arizona State, such a great start so far, have now surrendered a power play.
Number 9, Jake King, 2 minutes for holding.
And Arizona State, they were unable to capitalize on their power play opportunity. In fact, they gave up a great shorthanded chance to Oklahoma, but it's the Sooners now who get their first power play of the night. Glass gets kicked out of the circle. Stepping in is Bells. Sun Devils win it initially, but Oklahoma digs into the corner boards, outnumbers Arizona State as they try to emerge with the puck, and they do. Back behind the net, Davidson fans on the pass, fans on the second pass, a chance for Arizona State to clear it out, and they do.
Good hustle by Matt Keeler. He was not in the lineup last night, injecting some much-needed energy on this penalty kill.
Sun Devils get set up defensively as they invite Oklahoma to skate it in. Davidson gets checked away from the puck. Chase now on it. He'll send it up the half wall. Franklin can't corral the puck. Davidson back on it. That puck just bouncing around this far face-off dot. Cade Olson now, the first one to the puck. Olson a chance to clear. He gets knocked down, and he'll get that puck all the way down the ice.
That's another player that Arizona State has missed. Some veteran leadership on the back end. Cade Olson, he's more of that guy that's going to be out there in those situations when you really need great defensive play.
Kennedy loses an edge. Oklahoma back the other way. In front, the chip shot saved by the right shoulder of Glenn. Down low, Chase on his knees, tries to dig it out. Spear emerges with it for Oklahoma. Marchant can't get the puck from him. Spear all the way back up to the point. On the stick of Carr. Through traffic, that shot, deflection, score! Oklahoma, the first one's on the board tonight. That's a power play goal to put the Sooners up 1-0.
Tough break for Arizona State. They did a decent job boxing out in front of the goaltender for Arizona State, Glenn, but it just ends up taking either a stick deflection or just off the pants of the Oklahoma forward.
12, Tristan Glass.
And for Tristan Glass,
assisted by number 18,
just right spot, right time for him, making this a one-goal Oklahoma lead.
Glass from Volcom and power play goal at 4:20
Tough for Arizona
in
State.
the first period.
Surrendering that first goal. Saw it last night. We're going to see it again, so it's going to take some more of that gumption that we saw for them to come back.
And for the second consecutive night, as you allude to, the Oklahoma Sooners, first ones on the board in the first period. They're playing some good road hockey here in Tempe. Chadwick. He's got his left skate on the puck. Keeler digs in. Martin emerges with it back to the point. Chadwick getting physical back behind the play with Amala. Oklahoma will touch up, and Amala will get called for roughing.
Yeah, he was jousting back behind the play, and similar to what King did, taking a penalty in the offensive zone, Amala tries to one-up him and does one himself. And usually in hockey, you can live with some of those penalties that'll stop a goal maybe going into your own net, or if you end up blowing a tire trying to negate an odd man rush.
2 minutes for roughing.
But usually these ones that are penalties that really have no effect on the game one way or the other are the ones that usually come and bite you.
On the power play, powered
Chadwick,
by the
a great job getting under the skin of Amala. And now Arizona State, their second power play of the period, and a poignant moment early in this game for the Sun Devils. Oklahoma ties up the draw. The winger will come in and skate the puck ahead. Joy gets around the defense. Glenn has to come out and play it. And the Sun Devils will get a chance to set up and break it out. Marchand ahead of steam. He has King trailing. Drops it to King. He'll dish it over to Newland. DeVillers now on his backhand. He'll pause. Eat a check, but he gets it back up to the point. Marchand through traffic. Shot on, saved by Payne. The Sun Devils dig away at it. That shot around behind the net. Arizona State still on it. DeVillers back up now to Caden Butler. Slides it over to the left to Marchand. Back to his right to Butler. Through traffic. Deflection. Payne comes and makes the save, and he'll swallow up, not allowing any rebound.
Not the greatest start initially on that power play, but it was a good job by the Sun Devils, again, breaking in, as they do with that drop pass in the neutral zone, working it to the other side of the ice where there's more open space, and they're able to get a few dangerous chances against Payne.
Oklahoma once again wins the draw in their own defensive end, but Butler, with the extra effort, emerges with the puck. He'll send it up to the point, and Marchand just unable to keep that puck in. 1 minute remaining on the man advantage for Arizona State. They've had success with this break-in that you've referenced so far tonight, partner, as now it's King on the right wing. He'll get across the blue line, rip one on far side. Marchand has to hurry. He'll just keep it in, but his pass goes east to west. And struggling to keep it from getting to an Oklahoma player was Butler. Sun Devils a one-and-done opportunity once again here. That puck in on sides, but no one can corral it, and Oklahoma emerges with the puck. Tristan Glass on his backhand to his forehand. Wrister blockered away by Glenn.
Ice is getting a little chewed up as well. It's going to make it a lot harder to handle that puck.
As you mentioned that, almost instantaneously, DeVillers loses his handle, and Oklahoma a chance to get an easy clear. They do, and a 2-on-2 opportunity. Carr across the blue line, skates past one, rips one hard on, and Glenn flashes the leather.
Oklahoma's back in full strength.
5-on-5 hockey resumes as the Sun Devils just trying to get out of their zone as Oklahoma was clamping down, trying to force another turnover at the blue line. Kylie Ram has it poked away. Chadwick has it poked away. Oklahoma across the line. That chip pass towards Glenn. He'll kick it away into the corner. Parmar stops up. A good heads-up play by him. He'll find Friesen. Friesen tries to get past three Sooners. They pick it up. Spear on his backhand, sends it down low. No one there. And Kylie Ram is able to pick it up. He gets taken down. And as the Sooners touch up, that will be a tripping penalty, and it looks like it will be Amala returning to the sin bin.
Crazy turn of events. A very poor turnover by Hunter Friesen right in the middle of his own slot, and somehow Arizona State was able to escape away with the puck. And as they were doing so, Kylie Ram gets taken down by Amala forechecking. And where it seemed like Oklahoma was going to make this a 2-goal lead, all of a sudden it turns into a penalty against them.
Your Sun Devils are again on the power play, presented by the Husband and Wife Law Team.
Arizona State in a tough position here with that man advantage that's starting with only 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the period. So you might say very key 69 seconds here for them. It's always tough to come out of the intermission on the man advantage. Period. That pass finds its way to Marchand's stick. Oklahoma aggressive. So Marchand will elect to just take a shot on. Smart play by him as Payne will cover up.
It's interesting, Arizona State having some success of getting those point shots through. I'd like to see either a little more traffic or some more bodies. They have a high screen with King in terms of this power play unit up towards the top of the circles. I'd like to see at least another body or maybe King to move down a little more just to make it tougher for the Oklahoma netminder Payne to track that puck.
Carr on the half wall. He'll eat a check. Pokes it up around the Arizona State defense, and Oklahoma surgical as they're able to get that puck sent down the ice. Marchand really building up ahead of steam here. Still goes for that same drop pass. The Sun Devils kick it over to the right wing. This break-in working for them so far. King on the half wall. He'll skate it down low. Back up to Butler. He has Marchand waiting back behind him. Elects to go down low. Now up to Marchand. Marchand thought about feeding it to the far wing. That puck thrown in front, save, and Oklahoma clears it down the ice with 10 seconds remaining here in the first period. Farmar builds up some speed, 5 seconds left, just trying to get it ahead, and Oklahoma stick breaks up his pass to the neutral zone, and as the buzzer sounds on the opening 20 minutes, it's Oklahoma who strikes first, the only goal of the period.
That was a much better start to this game. And they're definitely giving one of their better punches so far in the season to Oklahoma, but the Sooners were able to just right the ship, play good, safe, complementary hockey, and then they were able to go ahead and take advantage on the power play. And all in all, probably stealing the period, being outplayed mostly by Arizona State and taking a 1-goal lead back into the room.
Some great work from Oklahoma to weather the early attack by the Sun Devils, and it's Arizona State who will go and lick their wounds at the intermission here, down 1-0. We'll be back in about 15 minutes here, folks, so don't go anywhere on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube. welcome back in, folks, to the Mountain America Community Iceplex here in Tempe, Arizona. My name is Niall Cooper. My partner is Brett Vaughn. Brett, an opening 20 minutes, and it's the same story as last night. Oklahoma strikes first on the road.
Yeah, definitely a better start for Arizona State tonight than last night, but again, they're in the same predicament, down a goal. But they will start this period, though, on an abbreviated power play.
45 seconds remaining in that power play for the Sun Devils as they'll skate it ahead out of their own end. Marchand, drop pass. Arizona State kicks it over the wing. Same breakout. Oklahoma reads it. Carr down the left wing. He's got a man in front. Feeds him. Save by Glenn. Second save by Glenn. An amazing shorthanded save. An opportunity for Oklahoma, but Nathaniel Glenn stands tall. And Brett, that same breakout finally is read by Oklahoma.
Yep, Carr finally jumped it. Sun Devils lucky.
Marchand, he'll chip it in down low. Butler gets it all the way back up to the point where Marchand gets there just in time. He'll whistle one hard wide of the net. Payne reestablished himself in the crease.
Back at full strength.
King on it. Poked away, down low. Newland can't corral it. DeVillers on the half wall tried to knock it down, but Oklahoma able to get out of their own end. A long change here for both teams as the Sooners get a partial one back behind the play. The Sun Devils in the offensive zone. Newland around the fence. He gets hooked, and that will be a call on Spear. Probably a good penalty by him.
Spear not used to being a defenseman. Backward skating, and Newland caught him flat-footed. And as he was turning the corner, Spear got a little too handsy. And like you said, Niall, took a good penalty to negate a good scoring opportunity, and the Sun Devils go back on the main advantage.
Number 16, Carson Spear, 2 minutes for holding. Spear.
We spoke with our colleague Easton Stockford between the first and second period, but I thought he had some really good points on this game, one of which being we need to see a little bit more from Arizona State on the man advantage.
Husband and wife team.
And Parmar, the defenseman, he'll start on the ice for Arizona State on the man advantage. He'll kick it to Ram. Across. One-timer. Payne moves right to left. He'll get the save. Oklahoma trying to get it clear, but the Sun Devils keep it in. Kylie Ram up top feeds Parmar. Back to Kylie Ram. Back to Parmar. That drop pass just gets there. Ice still fresh. Hasn't been chewed up entirely just yet. Kylie Ram goes east to west. Marchand stops. Rips one. Deflected. Wide of the net. Fouled by Friesen. He'll stop up. Squirts out to Marchand. Another shot. Hard on. Glove down. And Oklahoma tries to get it clear at the point. Knocked down. And that'll be a hand pass and a stoppage with 1:13 remaining on this power play for Arizona State.
Marchand, a couple of bites at the apple with some of those wrist shots. Does a great job of outweighting the man trying to front his shots to get that puck through towards the net of Oklahoma. But unfortunately for him, either that puck going straight in or a tip or redirection was unable to get past the goaltender.
Sun Devils will wind it up and skate ahead from behind their own end. See if they go for the same breakout as Marchand drops it over to King. King will elect to skate it himself and chip it in behind the net. Payne, never shy to play the puck, will get to it, but his clearing attempt won't go anywhere as it's picked up by Newland. Newland to Butler. He'll stop up, walk it in. Down low to Newland. Surveys options, finds Butler. Short side shot, and that puck will evacuate the zone and go all the way down to Glenn.
Arizona State was in a great position. I like it a little more when they're able to work it down lower into that corner. And Butler, short angle shot, tough to convert.
Marchand walks past two Sooners. Picked up now by Kagan, however. Oklahoma trying to get it clear. The Sun Devils come in, but they cannot corral that puck in time. Oklahoma showing a lot of gumption shorthanded right now to get this puck out consistently. Sun Devils one final break in as the power play winds down. That pass behind King. He'll whack it down low all the way around out of Newland. Long shift for Carter. They'll move side to side. Surveys the scene, finds Olsen at the point through traffic. Payne didn't see it, but he makes the save. Two Sun Devils down low as Newland on it. He'll walk it up top. Three Sooners surround him, so he'll feed it to King. Back down low to Newland as the Sun Devils cycle it. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Newland on the half wall being harassed by number 16 Spear. And now King will whip it all the way back around to DeVillers.
Tired group out for Oklahoma right now. These penalty killers are still stuck.
And that tired group gets the puck. They'll chip it ahead to Glass as the Sun Devils turn it over in the offensive end. And a sigh of relief from that Oklahoma bench. Icing waved off. Arizona State kicks it all the way up to the blue line. Squarey on it. Oklahoma changing back line. The play. Squarey shot blocked. Second opportunity kicked in front by Squarey. Backhand shot. And that's gloved down by Payne.
Unlucky for Cooch. If he was a left-handed shot, he really could have stepped into that one, but instead he had to be forced to shovel that one on his backhand, giving time for the goaltender Payne to make it across to his other post.
And you mentioned that tired group on the ice, partner, for Oklahoma. That forced them to have to try to hurry for a change, and the Sun Devils did capitalize on that, getting a brief 2-on-1, which ultimately yielded that nice chance on the backhand, albeit for Cooch. Cooch kicked out of the draw. Ben Chase wins it. Marchand drops it to Chase. Blocked through traffic, deflected just wide of the net. Oklahoma gives it back to Arizona State. Cooch on it. On the half wall. Finds Chase. Now on Marchand's stick. Oklahoma aggressively up top, trying to get that puck. Shot through traffic. Saved by Payne as Gutierrez boxed out that Sun Devil forward.
Great observation, partner. Making it easy for his goalie, Payne, to one, make the initial stop, but two, not allow any dangerous opportunities off that rebound. And it's going to be important for those Arizona State forwards. They work on it all the time in practice on those battle drills in the corners of jousting for position. I like to see Squarey there working a little harder to make it tougher on that defenseman Gutierrez to box him out.
Sun Devils another win. Keeler gets that one. DeVillers on the half wall through traffic. The shot scores! DeVillers whips one from the half wall. That takes a wicked deflection off the defenseman's stick, and Arizona State ties this game up 1-1.
It'll be interesting to see on the replay, as also out in front there for Arizona State was Keeler having his stick down. And again, what do we say of being able to keep that pressure in front of the Oklahoma netminder? And it looks like it's going to be Keeler being awarded the goal. As we see that short angle shot from Deviliers. And Keeler celebrated like he touched it. And so far it's going to stand at his goal, an ASU sweater.
And if so, DeVillers will have to give him maybe an opportunity in practice to be the first one to skate by the bench and grab some water. As DeVillers stole that first man in line after the goal, but I don't think anyone for the Sun Devils is going to care that much as they do get this game knotted up. Some good work on the power play. They built some momentum off of it, and a 5-on-5 goal for Arizona State knots this game up. Oklahoma goes east to west as they gain entry. Carr on it. Rather, that was Amala. His shot weakly goes wide. Oklahoma defenseman Wolf tries to lay a check. The Sun Devils get in. Riley Ram comes in. A second check now laid by a Sun Devil forward, Descharmes. Descharmes saw Randall's coming in. A little bit of a train tracks moment for him as he got out of the way. Physicality continuing to pick up in this middle frame tonight.
It seems that Oklahoma, anytime the Sun Devils claw their way back into the game, they're able to respond. We'll see if it stays the same tonight.
Keeler, the goal scorer, giving chase. DeVillers steps in. He'll lay a check. Keeler back on it. The Sun Devil forward group aggressively getting on Oklahoma defense as they force a turnover. Back behind the net, working it in front. Davison on it now. Newland, a chance. He tries to get a shot off. Kicks away. From the point through traffic into the slot, it's knocked down. And some good work by this line for Arizona State. As Newland showing off some nice skating moves. He'll kick it up the half wall. Luke Chase builds up ahead of steam. He'll gain entry, throws it into the far corner.
Good response by this line for the Sun Devils of being able to keep applying the pressure to the Sooners, not allowing them to get a foothold back in this game.
That high shot goes off the glass. Back to the point. Chase through traffic. Picked up by his brother Ben. Ben trying to stuff it short side. Payne whacking away. Now Spear whacking away. Chase didn't like that at all as he gets into it with a couple of Oklahoma forwards. He gets grabbed by Brendan Wolf trying to dig Chase down.
Referee was on the other side of the net, so he did get a good view of if that puck was covered or not to blow it down. And it was all fair in love and war as both Spear and Chase were entitled to keep jabbing at that puck until the whistle blew. And right when it blew, Spear took a little offense to Chase trying to dislodge that puck. And we had a little extracurricular after the whistle.
And both teams a little on edge, partner, as last night we saw a big moment in this game down at the far side of the ice when Hayden got ran into by the Oklahoma forward and knocked down. We saw the Sun Devil group come to the defense of their goaltender. Not surprised to see Oklahoma do the same thing tonight.
See how the referees draw this one up. It's definitely been a busy game for these men in stripes, and now it looks like interesting. I think the official score sheet's being taken to the Arizona State bench, where the referee's trying to review the paperwork with Johnny Walker.
And that's a first for me, Brett. I haven't seen that much paperwork since Monday morning on my desk when I showed up to my good old 9 to 5.
Powered by the husband and wife law team.
Luckily, April's still a bit of ways away. That's where I usually see my paperwork. Thank you, TurboTax.
And we are not sponsored, folks, so don't worry. No conflict of interest here. I do tend to seek out the free options myself, I will say, partner.
And it looks like the coaches are still reviewing the paperwork. I'm not sure if either the scorekeeper saw something or maybe Oklahoma might have mentioned something in terms of the roster on who's supposed to be suited up or not in this game. As we've had a really good pace so far in the second period, but now things have halted with this stoppage.
And it's interesting, looking at the score sheet from last night, we do not see the defenseman 73 for Arizona State on that. As I see him walking back towards the coaches, Javier Parmar, as he's in the middle of the bench talking to the coaches. He was not on the sheet listed for last night's game, and we can only speculate right now if maybe Oklahoma spotted a discrepancy and are trying to exploit that poor paperwork, which would force Parmar to leave the bench and the game for Arizona State if that is the case. A lengthy discussion continuing. And it looks like the officials have things sorted out. An offensive zone draw coming here for Oklahoma. We'll see if the scorekeeper has an official call on what exactly is happening. But after all said and done, Ben Chase does get an extra minor from that scuffle that ensued prior to the meetings of the minds. One-timer shot from Oklahoma goes wide. Down low, Arizona State first one on it. They'll send it down the ice, knocked down by a high stick from Oklahoma, and when they touch this up, that should be a stoppage.
And also, too, a faceoff should be all the way down as well. Make it a little harder for Oklahoma to try and skate this one all the way down.
Head coach Johnny Walker continuing to conversate with one of the officials. As we see Parmar undoing his helmet, starting to make his way down the bench. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Oklahoma will pick it up in their own end. Hagan circling the wagons, drops it. Kylie Ram almost was able to pick that one up and walk it in. Blake gains entry, or rather drops it, and Oklahoma will whip it all the way around. Picked up by Martin. He'll get it back to the point. Blake goes east to west. Back up top now. That shot through traffic. Knocked down by Glenn. Rebound shot put wide. Arizona State, the first one's to the puck in the corner, and they'll send it all the way down the ice.
Another dangerous scoring opportunity for the Sooners. Don't mind getting dirty in the blue paint. And almost cashed in successfully for them.
And in fact, we see Javier Parmar make his way to the bench back behind the play. And it looks like Arizona State will be short a defenseman for the remainder of this game. Giving chase shorthanded was Hunter Friesen. He almost was able to corral that puck. Blake will skate it ahead for Oklahoma. Blake walks it in, toe drags, tries to get a shot off. A nice stick defensively by Luke Chase, forces the puck into the corner. Luke Chase back on it, seals the wall, trying to slow down this Oklahoma group. Carr takes a tumble down low in the corner. Arizona State tries to capitalize. The referee blows this one dead. Not sure if that was considered a high touch, or Carr may have covered that puck entirely with the palm of his hand. Or it was simply a hand pass.
Yeah, I think the latter there, partner, as the faceoff's going to be outside of the Oklahoma zone. Not too many dangerous opportunities besides that 1-point shot. And with 14 seconds left, the Sun Devils can see if they can maybe spring Ben Chase hopping out of the box.
And with 10 seconds left here in the power play, Oklahoma will settle it down behind their own net. Narvaez drops it off to his D partner. And with that, Arizona State has killed it off. Kylie Ram picks the pocket of the defenseman. Carr walks it in. Backhand save by Payne. Kylie Ram, a golden opportunity, shorthanded earlier on the kill. And right there, just as the penalty expires, another chance for him to walk it in alone. And Payne was up to the task.
Tough for Kylie Ram. He kick-started the Harley, trying to pump fake the goalie out of his skates, but was unable to convert.
And Glenn will glove that one down for Arizona State as we're almost at the midway point of the second period. Kylie Ram's breakaway chance, the 25th shot on goal tonight for Arizona State. Payne looking particularly sharp between those two red pipes.
He didn't bite on any of those fakes that Kylie Ram was showing him. And I think for Kylie Ram, too, he might have been in a little disbelief how easy it was to get that puck and create that turnover in the offensive zone, and he just had maybe too much time and decided to go for the deke move instead of maybe either a quicker deke or just going for the straight shot.
Grayson Payne more stoic there than my partner, facing his 5th spam call of the day, and he does a fantastic job shutting down Kylie Ram and stepping up when Oklahoma needed him most. Arizona State picks up a loose puck across the blue line as that shot goes whistling high from Descharmes. Behind his goaltender, Glenn. Arizona State defense will just kick that one ahead. That was Marchant. And now it's picked up by Ben Chase. Ben Chase on his backhand tries to throw it in front. He had Descharmes sneaking in behind the backside. Chase eats a check, sends it down low. He finds Descharmes. Descharmes on his backhand gets it up to Chase. He reverses to Marchand. Marchand walks in. Shot through traffic, deflects off an Oklahoma stick. Kept alive by Chase. Luke Chase, that is. He'll seal the wall. A player gets knocked down. Luke Chase touches up, and that'll be a penalty assessed to Arizona State. As 2 Oklahoma players down. Joy standing over top of Josh Bells. I believe it was Bells who got the worst of that check. And Descharmes will sit for 2.
I'm not sure if that was just a boarding call is what they're going to say, but Arizona State, I love that shift by that line of operating beneath the goal line, and they're really generating some dangerous opportunities off of it.
2 minutes for roughing. Descharmes 2 for roughing. Time the penalty. 9:32 remaining in the second period. Your Sun Devils are on the penalty kill, powered by the Husband and Wife Law Team.
And Oklahoma, another great opportunity here. Arizona State will have to deal with a long change shorthanded. As Oklahoma works it up top. Blake settles it down as they play pitch and catch. Kagan through traffic. And Glenn able to see that one all the way. As he does a good job staying on top of that blue paint, Glenn does, to get his eyes on that puck. Not easy for Oklahoma, given the height of Glenn, trying to get traffic in front of him. Oklahoma wins the offensive draw. Kagan will swing it over to his left. That one-timer across. Blake couldn't get good wood on it. Olsen digging away in the corner. Franklin comes in to help him. Olsen now will just seal it up on the wall and eat some clock. Oklahoma picks it up. Trying to swing it towards the front of the net. Unable to, as Franklin gives chase. And that puck works its way all the way around and out. Kagan will settle down for Oklahoma. Blake builds up some speed through the neutral. He'll chip it off the glass. First one to his own chip in is Blake. It's knocked away, however. Franklin a chance to clear it around the far side. Just kept in. Kagan walks it in. Fakes the shot. Now he rips one high over the net. Glenn never saw it. Arizona State picks it up, however, and they'll get a clear all the way down the ice.
Tough play by Kagan. He was able to fight that Arizona State defender on that fake, and that allowed him to really walk in and risk that puck.
Amala, he'll throw one high off the glass. That one never worrying Glenn, and the Sun Devils able to get another clear. Only 30 seconds left in this minor penalty to Descharmes. Arizona State on the half wall. They can't get a clear, however. Oklahoma walks it back in. Tic-tac-toe shot in front, and Glenn once again stands tall.
Defending all of these point shots reminded me of conversation we had with Arizona State great goaltender Bronson Moore. He's actually worked with the netminder in tow right now, Nathaniel Glenn, of being able to work on fronting that shot better. As a goaltender, if you're able to come out of your crease more and be more aggressive on those point shots, that makes it a tougher chance for the opposing team to deflect it past you.
Some great insight there, partner. Nathaniel Glenn looking like he has been putting in the work tonight. Not seeing as much rubber as Payne, but seeing some very quality opportunities when Oklahoma has been able to engineer some.
Your Sun Devils are back at full strength.
And Arizona State, on their own accord, engineering a great penalty kill, as they did not give up a single grade A opportunity to Oklahoma on that man advantage for the Sooners. And now the Sun Devils will work it. Marchant back on it. They'll swing it wide. Luke Chase gains the red line, just chips it in. Two Sun Devils give chase. Digging away at it is King. He'll get the puck. Back to Marchant. They'll swing it over to Olsen. Olsen looking for a shot through traffic, knocked down. King unable to pick it up. He'll work it away from the defender, though. King back on it. Swings himself around on the faceoff dot. Down low now. Butler, he gets low, gets knocked off the puck. King coming in, laying a big check. And that puck at the point just rolls over the stick of Marchand. Oklahoma back in behind the defensive power move, possibly to the front of the net, and a save by Glenn as Cade Olsen had to work defensively for Arizona State. King now one-on-one the other way. He'll work it back in to the forehand. The shot just saved by Payne as King tried to squeeze it under his glove. Still loose in the slot, and Oklahoma gets that out to the neutral zone. That deflection off of a stanchion right in front of us goes straight towards Payne. Luckily, no one there for Arizona State as he got wide-eyed. Gutierrez, his defenseman, was able to pick it up. Gutierrez gets his eyes up, finds Davison, who gets labeled against the board. Back behind the play by DeVillers.
You can hear some of the Arizona State fans getting rowdy after that.
Franklin skates down low, swings it all the way around. Glass will just chip it out. A tired Oklahoma group begging to get a change. The Sun Devils chip it back in. Payne comes way out to play it. A heads-up play by the goaltender for the Sooners, and he'll cover up for a stoppage.
Absolutely a 110 IQ play by the Oklahoma netminder, noticing that his teammates of five out in front of him were dog-tired, and they can finally go back to their bench for a change. Sun Devils doing a great job. A couple of waves of lines of really applying the pressure I think they're at their best when they work underneath the goal line and generate the best scoring chances off that.
And de Villers getting some knocks on the bench for that big check he laid. We still see a lot of energy in the crowd to our right as they love that physicality. A nice crowd here tonight at the Mackey.
Definitely good energy. Not only do the fans get that energy from a big hit, but also to your teammates and your bench energy. That's something that could only fuel you positively of being able to get everybody bought in and engaged into the game.
Sun Devils so far able to withstand a couple of power plays by the Sooners in this middle frame, and doing all of that without one of their key defensemen tonight, Parmar. We see him just to the left of this Arizona State bench watching on. Meanwhile, Spear will skate it ahead for Oklahoma. On his weak side, he cuts across the middle, sends it down low. Marchand gets his stick lifted, can't get it clear. Spear back on it, gets it up to the point. Shot through traffic, deflected back behind the net. No one can really see where the puck is except for Marchand. He'll swing a heavy pass diagonally, and Cooch just out of his reach. As the ice starting to get chewed up here late in the second period, the pass is a little harder to connect tape to tape, and we're seeing a few more stretch choices by both teams. Another one right there by Oklahoma as they go for a stretch pass picked up by Arizona State. They try to touch up, but the linesman calls that one offsides.
It's been weird. We haven't seen a goal yet. We know it's going to be tight checking like it was last night, but right now, puck's not really going in for either team, and it's just going to make this more and more enthralling to watch as we go down the stretch.
And what was a very fast-paced, exciting opening frame tonight, would you say it's gotten maybe a little more cagey here in the second period?
Definitely has, but I think the speed and the tempo has still been at a high pace as both teams are really knowing that this game's hanging in the balance and knowing that being that first person to that loose puck might be the difference.
Kylie Ram leans in on his strong side. He'll win that on the backhand. A hard wrister goes just over the head of Payne. Kept alive at the point by Franklin. He kicks it down low. Kylie Ram, Butler, all the way back up to the point. Olsen just sends it down low. King will try to knock it down. A good job by Sticky, and Oklahoma unable to clear it. Kylie Ram back down low. Braces himself for contact as he waits for reinforcements to arrive, and they do. Butler with the puck. Backhands it up to Franklin. He'll dish it back to Butler. Butler through traffic, deflected by the Oklahoma defense. Picked up by Kylie Ram. Kylie Ram down low. He'll feed King, just out of his reach, though. Butler gets on his horse, sends it down low. Butler and King operate. King on it now. Backhand. Forehand, backhand. Sun Devils get it back to the point. Franklin just keeps it alive. Looking for a shot through traffic. King tries to get a stick on it. Unable to get there. Olsen will activate from the point. Does just enough to slow down Oklahoma as they're struggling to get it out at the blue line. They just get it across. And that's picked up now by Grady Franklin. Franklin given chase, however, by two Sooners. A partial change back behind the play. Fresh off the bench is Glass. That puck in front of the net saved by Glenn. And it squirts over to Caden Butler. Butler feeds Friesen. Friesen loses the handle on it, however. And Oklahoma now a chance to skate it in. Some tired troops still on the ice for Oklahoma, however. And the Sun Devils will elect just to gain the center line and chip that puck in behind Payne.
Sun Devils keeping this energy on the forecheck. Again, really loving it so far.
And that forecheck continues. Oklahoma struggling these last few minutes just to get the puck out of their own end of the ice. And Carson Glass elects to go for a hard backhand clearance, knowing it was going to be an icing, but he was under duress, and this Oklahoma group, tired, will get back defensively in their own end and try to deal with a fresh group off the bench for Arizona State.
The ultimate goal is, of course, to get a goal, but even more so, the more you can keep your opponent in their own end, that'll tire them out. So then when they're able to collect the puck, they're not able to generate any scoring chances because they're so tired they're going to have to leave the ice.
And the Sun Devils force another turnover. As Joy a chance finally to get this out for Oklahoma. The puck bouncing over his stick. And now Carr will get it in. Sun Devils a chance to break the other way, but that pass knocked down by number 10, Nate Monticelli. Marchant, stretch pass, in behind the fence. Payne awkwardly sticks that in the corner. And as you mentioned, partner, alluding to the fact that maybe the best defense is a good offense, Arizona State has the ice tilted at the moment. Keeler wanted to force that puck towards the net as Newland was coming in back behind the play. He couldn't get that shot off. Sun Devils touch up. However, Newland just plays that puck, or rather a hand pass assessed here, and that will be a stoppage with 1:07 remaining in the second period.
That's a tough thing with hockey. You're outplaying your opponent, but you still have a tie game on your hands. And that's where we really see the top teams in the ACHA, really in any level of hockey, become the top teams. It's these type of games where you're grinding a game out, and even though that you're outplaying your opponent, maybe the puck isn't bouncing your way, and the more you can have that stick-to-itiveness, then eventually those results are going to come in your direction.
Cade Olson gets his head up, decides to try to eat a check.
In the second period.
As we saw that get him into trouble against GCU last time he was on the ice. The Sun Devils pick that puck back up. However, they'll turn over at their own blue line. Luckily, an errant pass alleviates pressure only for a moment. That puck in front, Glenn save, and no rebound yielded. The rebound control has been excellent tonight for number 31 in the white and gold.
That wasn't really any sort of athletic, crazy save by Glenn. It just came down into his great positioning, tracking where the puck is, taking the right angle towards that puck carrier, and making that save with his chest. Great positioning by the netminder for Arizona State.
40 seconds exactly remaining here in the second period. Oklahoma, after finally getting the puck out of their own end and getting a few sustained offensive zone times, as they'll get a quick shot off the draw, starting to tilt this ice back in their favor, Oklahoma is.
Oklahoma's too good of a team to go back home and fold. Sun Devils have to keep applying the pressure and not take a shift off.
Arizona State gets a clear off the glass. Tyler Ram picks it up, but just blowing a tire was Caden Butler as he looks to the heavens. He knew a good opportunity might have been there if he stays on his feet. Another Sun Devil player blows a tire in the neutral zone. This time it's Kylie Ram. As Marchant slows it down, feeds Chase. King will chip it in behind the defense. 7 seconds left, but Arizona State, a delayed offsides here. And the linesman coming over to talk to the official. He gave a good warning to King, and King recognized that it was an offsides, but still played the puck, and that means an offensive zone draw now for Oklahoma.
Could become a costly offsides as with only 4 seconds left, the puck's advanced already in an offensive scoring position for Oklahoma if they get this draw clean.
Carr waiting for the win off of the faceoff. As Chase gets busy, the winger for Arizona State. Linesman settling things down. Here comes the faceoff draw. Won by Oklahoma. Kicked back to that left point. No one there, however. And the Sun Devils will head back to the locker room here, tied up at 1-1.
No notes for me for Arizona State. I think this may be
11 shots on net.
keeping your P's and Q's with you when you're handling that puck in your own zone and not allow any easy chances for Oklahoma. But again, they really outworked the Sooners for most of that second period. They just got to put the puck in the back of the net.
And as both teams head back to their locker rooms, the Zamboni comes out as they get ready to cut the ice. We will go to a quick break here during the second intermission, folks. The score 1-1 right now between Arizona State and the University of Oklahoma. Don't go anywhere. More exciting Division I men's ACHA hockey coming up just around the corner here on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
And welcome back in, folks, to Tempe, Arizona. My name is Niall Cooper. My partner is Brett Vaughn. Brett, we're just about ready to start the final period of this weekend series between Arizona State and Oklahoma. We have a tie game on our hands.
Been another great contest so far between both of these teams. Not much room for space out there on this ice sheet. And we're expecting in a blockbuster third period.
And Arizona State, they survived an onslaught of power plays late by Oklahoma in that middle frame. Not surprising, back-to-back nights, the middle period seemed to be a little more physical, and the officials calling things just as tightly as they did last night.
Interesting to note, we were talking with our production extraordinaire, Dr. Ben Smith, and if you remember in that second period, there's some confusion on the Arizona State roster and bench that Javier Parmar, the freshman defenseman for the Sun Devils, was deemed to be out there, but for whatever reason, when he ended up getting that assist, the scorekeeper was trying to find where his name was on the score sheet, and it was not there. And that's what flagged the referees to come over to head coach Johnny Walker, and ended up being that he was not on the score sheet to play tonight. And unfortunate for Parmar, as his family came in from Washington. But catch-22, even though he was unable to finish and continue the rest of this game, he did get an assist. And that's something, even though maybe in the score sheet doesn't show up, you can't take it away because we saw it here happen on the ice.
Exactly, and I have to say, Javier was playing a great game for Arizona State up until he unfortunately got pulled off the ice. He was definitely looking very poised and very sharp on the back end for head coach Johnny Walker, and he will be missed here for the remainder of this game. And it seems like we've seen a lot of ice time for Luke Chase in his absence, as he's on the ice here to start the third period for Arizona State. Sun Devils cycle it down low. Tristan Glass staples his man on the boards. That's Jay King. King tries to walk it out. Kylie Ram whacking away at it. Blake whacking away at it. Now walking in is Marchand. He'll send it down the far corner. Kylie Ram picks it up. Kylie Ram elects to stop. Backhand it down low. Caden Butler, he hits the brakes hard. Ends up tabletopping the Oklahoma defender. Luke Chase now seals the wall. They'll keep the puck alive. Oklahoma just looking for a clear. And Arizona State, once again, looking sharp 5-on-5 as they've played some great even-up hockey tonight.
Ooh, so the Devils have to be careful trying to finish off that change. There's almost too many men.
Glenn forced to make a reaction save there as he threw it up the half wall to those changing line mates of his in front of him. And Oklahoma now in the offensive zone. Pushed away, however, by Newland. Newland on his horse. Trying to get behind the fence. Blows a tire. He'll try to poke it around the defender. Amala now jumps up, trying to corral it like a center fielder, but a little over his head. And Franklin will clap it back in. Olsen and Franklin, the shutdown pair tonight for Arizona State. And they'll be the ones that try to push this ahead. Franklin gets the feed, walks it down low, behind the net. Feeds it back to his partner Olsen. Olsen through traffic. That one knocked down and deflected up into the netting.
Arizona State doing a better job of, again, fighting in the vision of the goaltender Payne. As that time it was Matt Keeler who did a great job of it in the earlier periods, almost working to success there.
Offensive zone draw here for Arizona State. But it's Card, the slick skating defenseman, who gets on the puck first. It feeds Amala, who pushes it up ahead now to Charlie Blake. Blake just throws it on, short angle. Saved by Glenn. And Olsen now delays. And Arizona State almost another blue line turnover. Both teams struggling on the weekend with turnovers. You'd think we were at an Arby's looking at a nice little apple pie turnover. I've had those on my mind all weekend. Oklahoma now in the slot. Carr can't corral it. Pushed up ahead by Cross. That shot off the stick of Kennedy goes up into the netting.
During the intermissions, the great snack bar here at Mountain America Community Iceplex. I think I had my mind on one of those nice hot pretzels.
Oh, can't go wrong. Salted or unsalted?
I usually like salted, a little flavor on there. And don't be afraid to dab a little bit of cheese sauce on
Oh
those
my.
pretzels.
A very bougie pretzel order here, but a classic one nonetheless. Sun Devils try to get down low, outman Oklahoma. They'll poke it back up to the point. Marchand walks the line, gets it back over to Kylie Ram. ASU just staying in. Now King. His pass back up to the point wouldn't go. Good stick by Gutierrez, slows him down. Now it's back up to Chase. Chase eats a check, sends it down low. Chase has to activate from the left point. He steps in, backhands it down low. No one really possessing the puck at the moment. And the linesman takes a shot right in the midsection. And that stops what might have been an icing for Oklahoma, allows them to get a change. Marchand talking to the referee behind the play as Ben Chase, a solo act at the moment, will skate it all the way in behind the net. Ben Chase still on it, tries to feed his player coming in late off the bench. That was Squeary, but Oklahoma snuffs it out, and they'll get it sent down low behind the net of Nathaniel Glenn. Squeary, first one to the puck in the offensive zone. Almost 5 minutes gone here in the third period in a tie game, 1-1. As you can feel the clamps tightening on both ends of the ice. Neither team wanting to give up the next goal in this one.
Sun Devils making it tough so far for Oklahoma to get into the offensive zone cleanly, allowing the Sun Devils to keep attacking on the offensive end.
And a big check laid in the neutral zone by Tristan Glass for Oklahoma. Carson Cooch got the worst of that. As he'll play it back now to Marchand. Marchand up the half wall. Oklahoma changing. Marchand was trying to see if he could catch them mid-change and get too many men penalty. Oklahoma, though, they've been on their minding their P's and Q's all weekend, and once again are minding it there. Both goalies very active moving the puck tonight. Something fun to see.
It's always a great help when that goalie back there is able to handle the puck. Makes it a lot easier on the defenseman.
Another check laid by Oklahoma back behind the play. That was Carr, this time on the distributing side of a big check. First time we've seen that from him this weekend.
And in these tight checking hockey games, it's going to take each team to pay the price when they're trying to release that puck in, either dumping it or passing it out or even taking a shot. That's going to be incumbent on you to take a hit to make a play.
And a heads-up play by Glenn. Nathaniel Glenn, as he was almost about to come out and try to play that puck, but he saw that it was going to be an icing. He's even was giving some direction to the officials behind the play, letting them know who for Oklahoma should be on the ice. Arizona State, the offensive zone draw. They've been good so far tonight in the face-off dot. They lose that draw, but corral the puck. Caden Butler walks it up. Quick shot. Goes whistling just wide. Franklin keeps it alive at the point. He throws through traffic, deflected down, knocked away by an Oklahoma defender. And Carr will chip it up the half wall, where Franklin for ASU will play it, but it hops over his stick. And Arizona State forced to touch up and get on sides. Butler on his backhand, trying to power his way around Carr. Carr does a good job shepherding him into the corner. However, it looked like Carr got his stick parallel to the ice. Now we have an Arizona State player who gets laid with a hard check well after the whistle down to the ice. It'll be interesting to see what the final call is here from the officials.
Looks to be Jay King for Arizona State getting back up on all fours, and we'll see if there's going to be any penalties coming of it.
Jay King, 2 goals last night for Arizona State. He's back up on his feet all right now, definitely letting the officials know
Oklahoma minor penalty, number 5.
what he thought about that late
2
hit.
minutes for hooking.
Looks like he got a shot a little bit high.
13:27 remaining in the
but
third
the officials
period.
not calling that, only calling the initial hooking penalty that was already being assessed to Carr.
Brought to you by
The Sun Devils, some good work by them, sends the best player for Oklahoma to the penalty box for 2 minutes. And a big-time opportunity for Arizona State right here. Leaning into the draw and winning it was King, but now it's Oklahoma a chance to get this puck deep. Tristan Glass just eats a few extra seconds up before he sends it all the way down the ice.
And it was great hustle by Jay King of driving hard to the net, which forced the Sooners to take that penalty.
Sun Devils get in off of Marchand, walking it single-handedly in. Marchand back on it now. Wanted gets the shot off. He dusts it off. Knocked down in the slot. Kept alive by Butler. Back to Marchand. Wrister. And that's saved by Payne. No traffic in front of him.
Again, that's the issue. Just no traffic for the netminder Payne. It's going to be easy, especially for goaltenders at this level, to make it stop all the way from the blue line. Even if you get a tip on it, goalie's still able to react with enough time since there's nobody screening his vision.
On the half wall, that puck gets stuck in all the snow that's starting to build up, but King will walk it out. Loses the handle for a moment, dishes it off to Butler. Butler walks it in. The right face-off dot. He risks a hard one right into the breadbasket of Payne. No rebound yielded.
That time, just a good job by Payne. Like you said, partner, no rebound in front, but Butler was in the right spot of the ice. That if that puck was going to dribble out, it would have been the first man to it.
See if the Sun Devils can finally get on the right side of a draw. And they do, thanks to some help from the wingers. Shot through traffic. Glove down by Payne. He made that look easy. And Arizona State, a bit of a shooting gallery going on at the moment. Though, similar to what we saw last night, partner, a lot of perimeter shots for Arizona State on this power play.
Which aren't the ideal chances you want, but can still work if you have some traffic in front, which right now the Sun Devils are lacking.
On the extra effort by the penalty killer for Oklahoma, that was number 19, Griffin Joy. He managed to get it out. A big collision on the half wall. And the Sun Devils will skate it back in. Into the middle of the ice. Oklahoma just hands it away into the corner boards. Sun Devils with it now. De Villers back up to the point. Butler through the middle, nobody there. Luckily, the puck was unable to be corralled by Oklahoma, so Marchand gets the puck. Marchand with possession, stops up, skates it from low to high. Surveying his options, Marchand just practicing his stick handles at the moment. His shot goes whistling wide. No one there except a red sweater for Oklahoma, and that goes just whistling wide of all those guys on the bench. And stays in play. Both teams go for a change.
And that's easy to defend if you're Oklahoma, with Arizona State staying so stationary in the offensive zone. There really isn't much threat to defend.
Oklahoma successfully killing off another man advantage for Arizona State. Sun Devils yet to have a power play goal tonight. With some speed down the wing. Cooch on the backhand, saved by Payne. Oklahoma lays the body, separates man from puck, and they're able to skate it ahead now. Carr back behind the play. He took a shot from Hunter Friesen, it looks to be. And as Arizona State touches up, it'll be a penalty assessed now to the Sun Devils. Cross-checking the call.
Yeah, again, this was against the run of play as they're coming in and back-checking. And just too much of an extra shove taken by Friesen behind the play.
Sun Devils minor penalty.
Are going to force the Sun Devils to be on the penalty
2
kill.
minutes for cross-checking. Friesen 2 for cross-checking.
Hunter Friesen has been fighting it a little bit,
10:53 remaining in the
so to
third
speak,
period.
tonight. He'll now
The Sun
sit
Devils
in the
are on
sin bin
penalty
for
kill,
hopefully
fueled
all
by the
2
Hunter
minutes
Lifeline
and
team.
watch his Arizona State compatriots try to get a kill here. A good start by this penalty kill unit as Kate Olsen sends it all the way down the ice. Sun Devils step up in the neutral zone, forcing a turnover. And now Oklahoma will have to start again. Carr, he wants to skate it in himself. They'll get it in behind the defense. Carr giving chase. Franklin first one there. Carr heavy on the stick, but Franklin, a little bit better effort from him than Carr, and Franklin able to send that one all the way down the ice.
Beautiful job by Franklin. Was able to ride the forechecker into the puck scrum into the corner, and he, all in one motion, boxed him out and cleared at the same time.
Oklahoma operates as they get set up in the offensive zone. 55 seconds gone in the man advantage for the Sooners. Carr at the very top. Goes for the half wall. Back to Carr. Carr has Kagan waiting for it. Kagan clapping. He wants it. Now Kagan gives right back to Carr. One-timer saved by Glenn. That puck loose behind him. Trying to get it clear. The Sun Devils somehow able to keep that puck out of the net.
Game saver by Luke Chase. He's able to kneel and dive for that puck, and he swung with his right-handed stick, keeping that puck not crossing that goal line.
18, Skylar Bacham in the all-red was waiting. I think you could see the saliva coming out of his mouth as he had a wide open net. All he had to do was push that puck from his backhand to his forehand and stuff it in. But as you mentioned, Luke Chase at full extension, able to break that shot up at the last possible moment. And Arizona State will send this puck down the ice. 30 seconds left now in the man advantage for Oklahoma. And the Sun Devils most of the way there to a successful penalty kill. And you have to think Hunter Friesen breathing a sigh of relief at the moment. Oklahoma, a nice job to get it across the blue line. A bouncing clear, however, will get down the ice.
Outside of that one chance for the Sooners, the Sun Devils have been having a great job done on this penalty kill.
Walking in, Amala almost single-handedly walks the entire defense. That puck now squirts out to the blue line. A diving effort, but the Sun Devils can't get the clear. Around the defense now, the puck almost makes its way to Friesen stick, fresh out of the box, and the Sun Devils do get a successful kill. Franklin, he goes east to west. Butler, fresh off the bench. He'll chip it in behind the defense. Knocked down by Kagan. Butler's still on it. On his forehand. Butler looking to get it to the front there. He throws it in front. No one there. And Arizona State late getting the defenseman off of the bench. Unable to keep that puck in.
Ooh, a little friendly fire there as Deviliers ate that clear in from Marchand. And he's really laboring on that right hip.
Still laboring is DeVillers as he takes a lap around the ice to try to skate it off. Oklahoma, meanwhile, back behind the play. We're offsides.
And that's one of those two, if you're Deviliers, is where you're going to want to keep moving around on the bench. If you stay too stationary so long, it's going to really wilt up.
Marchand gave him a nice little stick tap. An apology as DeVillers went back to the bench. Marchand stays on the ice, however, as Squeary will push it in behind that Oklahoma defense. Squeary on his horse, gets all the way to the far corner, lays a big check. Marchand keeps alive at the point. Waiting for players to get in front of the net. He'll elect to switch at the D. That shot deflected just over the net. Payne never saw it. Oklahoma pushing it ahead themselves. Turnover, however, and the Sun Devils a chance to come back the other way. Chase feeds Squeary. A tired Squeary will give chase into the corner. Squeary emerges with the puck. Cooch steps into the slot. His one-timer goes just wide. A shot deflected, saved by Payne. Another shot from the point, kicked into the corner. Cooch there trying to get that rebound. A big check laid back behind the play, separates man from puck, and the Sun Devils will go back and get this corralled in their own end as Oklahoma goes for a change.
Sun Devils doing everything right except putting that go through. It's going to be important for them to keep sticking to this style of hockey as they're having some success, just missing that goal.
Both goaltenders looking extremely sharp for their respective clubs tonight. As Payne right on cue will swallow that heavy shot on. You could hear it all the way down here. Arizona State's 34th shot on goal tonight. Both Payne and Glenn looking good on both sides of the ice, although we've seen a lot more of Payne in this third period.
This is one of those games where it's going to be those grinded out games, even for Oklahoma as well. And this is going to be a win for either team where they can really hang their hat on and take some momentum going through the rest of this semester and through the season.
Arizona State off the draw. The winger steps in. His shot goes just wide. That was Keeler. Oklahoma across the blue line. Drop pass. Shot on. Blocked away by the Arizona State defense. Keeler in the corner. One-time shot from Oklahoma. That goes wide after the initial save by Glenn Amala. Backhands one through the front of the crease. No one there. Carr pokes it loose. As he's getting covered by a forward, maybe a chance for DeVillers to pick the pocket of the Oklahoma forward back on his own end. And the Sooners just elect to send that down the ice. 6 minutes remaining here in the third period. Still knotted up at 1 in this one. As you can get the sense, we're getting closer and closer to the next goal, maybe being the last goal we see in this game. DeVillers on his backhand, throws it in front. Kylie Ram now sends it down low. King will step in. He'll take away a passing lane. The Sun Devils able to keep it in at the blue line. Marchand throws it, corner boards. Kylie Ram in the slot. One-timer dusted off as that puck just not quite in the wheelhouse of Caden Butler. And Oklahoma struggling to get it out of their own end. Sun Devils come over, get aggressive in the neutral zone, and they'll force a turnover, knock down a heavy check, forces Arizona State offsides. No penalty, however, as that was just some good old-fashioned hockey.
Man, Butler had a great chance, again, in the right position of the ice in that high slot area. And I'm not sure if it was just because the ice is chewed up on that side of the rink, where it wasn't a clean enough glide by the puck for him to go ahead and take that as a one-timer shot. Instead, he had to dust it off, and by then, that great scoring opportunity was gone.
Sun Devils on the delayed offsides now. They'll get back. Oklahoma continuing to look for the Hail Mary play. This time, it does end up working. Walking it in, and a quick shot poked away by Luke Chase. That was off the stick of Griffin Joy. Now the Sun Devils look for the stretch pass. Back the other way. Squeary goes down to the ice. Takes an Oklahoma player with him. And the Sun Devils have to be careful there. Cade Olson, a heads-up play to let that puck go all the way back behind him, as he might have been called for too many men if he had touched it up. Meanwhile, a one-timer for Oklahoma in the low slot. That goes just wide of the net. King the other way. Kicked away by Payne. Butler comes in with some speed. King comes in. They'll work it back up to the point. Olsen reverses. Franklin, he'll fake out his man. He sends it down low. Looking for a pass into the low slot is Kylie Ram. He'll turn around and rip one. Payne makes the save. Oklahoma trying to get it clear, kept alive by Olsen. Olsen skates past one Oklahoma player, past the second Oklahoma player, picked up by Kylie Ram. He'll settle it down, gives it to Franklin. He pump fakes, sends it down low. Tired Oklahoma group on the ice right now. The Sun Devils smell blood in the water. That puck knocked down right at the blue line. The Sooners changing back behind the play. And Glenn will come way out to knock the puck down.
Sun Devils great shift offensively. Getting a couple good chances. And maybe even more importantly, tiring out these Oklahoma Sooners where they're forced to dump the puck instead of trying to go in on the attack.
Amala, that lead forechecker, forces the Sun Devils out. And now Amala on it. He picks up loose puck. Quick shot on high over the glass. And that will bounce up into the netting. Amala wants that one back. A great opportunity for him coming in on his weak side as he tried to pick that far corner.
Lucky for Arizona State, Amala didn't make him pay as he whistles that one high. as the Sooners were able to cause that turnover at the Arizona State blue line, and those are usually ones that are backbreakers because everybody's transitioning going forward, and on a dime you have to go back the other way.
Marchand settles down, a bouncing puck, and Luke Chase will just rip it up the ice. Oklahoma aggressive on the forecheck late in this third period. 3 minutes left on the clock. Two Oklahoma players in on Marchand. He just gets it away to Friesen. Friesen will reverse it back to Marchand. Arizona State players really stretched far up the ice. Marchand decides now he's just going to skate it out himself. A smart play by him, sends it in the corner. Friesen gives chase. Marchand at the point. His shot deflects off an Oklahoma player into that far right corner. Cross sends it back down low. First one there is a Sooner. Friesen almost skates that clear right into the middle of the slot. And now Chase just whacks it in the corner. 2:22 left here in the final frame. Both teams searching for that go-ahead goal. Blowing a tire, the Oklahoma defender. A turnover now. King on it. King a shot. He scores! With 2:06 left in the third. Arizona State goes on top. It's 2-1 Sun Devils.
Heads up play by Kylie Ram. He took advantage of Carr blowing a tire on the half wall. And from there he was able to find the streaking Jake King fresh off the bench. And King was able to come in with all that momentum and blast one past Payne. And with 2:06 left in the third period, the Sun Devils get that crucial goal.
Sun Devil goal scored by
And
number
Jake King, he
9.
couldn't get that third goal we were all waiting for last night to put the Sun Devils ahead for good. But he does put the Sun Devils ahead tonight here late in the third. And now with 2 minutes left in the game, Oklahoma is going to be forced to throw everything they have at the net. They do there, however, it's a delayed offsides play. And Oklahoma giving it to the officials. They didn't think it was offsides.
And again, that's how close these margins are. That all of a sudden, whoever was going to get that next goal was going to really change this game. And now the Sooners are on their heels.
Franklin defensively tries to reverse it to Olsen. Olsen gets hounded by the Oklahoma forecheck. And Arizona State able to skate it ahead now. Squeary, a 2-on-1 if they hurry. He'll walk it in behind the defense, but now it's the Sun Devils who get called for an offside.
Would have been an amazing chance for a insurance marker by Squeary, as his line mate Cooch, I think, was just trying to hustle to get back onside. Unfortunately, he couldn't because Squeary was coming in with so much speed that it would have ended up being a good scoring chance if that play stood.
Oklahoma finishing their change back behind the play. 1:41 left in the third here. Arizona State wins the draw. We'll have to keep an eye for when Oklahoma gets the chance. They will likely dump it in and pull their goaltender. However, the Sun Devils just eat a couple seconds off as they get the puck back in. Now Butler gets laid down. A big check by Tristan Glass for Oklahoma. The Sooners skated ahead around the defense. Walking in the slot. One-timer from Glass. And no problem for Nathaniel Glenn.
Would have liked Grady Franklin for Arizona State to play that weak side winger a little bit more closely, as Glass had a lot of time and space in a dangerous spot of the ice, and Glenn was able to bail out his defenseman.
And the Oklahoma Sooners, with 1:18 on the clock, will call their only timeout. An offensive zone draw will be coming up for them here just to our left in front of us. The Arizona State group getting some direction as they're going to likely see a 6-man unit come onto the ice for Oklahoma after this timeout.
Here's what I'll say. I think for any team in the ACHA, I think Oklahoma is really equipped for this situation. They've scored a lot of their goals from point shots, off traffic, off tips, and this is what it's going to take with all those bodies. Count them, 11 out there on the ice, 5 for Arizona State, 6 it's going to be for Oklahoma. And this is a situation that they're really successful in terms of goal scoring opportunities. And so it's going to be important for the Sun Devils to try to give their goaltender, Glenn, all the space to see that puck and pick it up, to do his best to keep that puck out of the net.
And sure enough, we see an empty net down at the far side of the ice for Oklahoma. 6 skaters here for the Sooners as they try to battle their way back into this game. Arizona State trying to hold on and get a win here tonight on a Friday night game in Tempe, Arizona. Sooners win the draw. That shot goes whistling just wide and all the way out of the zone. Amala skates back, trying to settle down this puck. It just will not settle for him. He has to get all the way behind his net as he'll now skate it up. Amala half wall. Gets it up to Glass. Glass in front. Sun Devils able to sniff that puck out. Chase can't clear it. Still alive. Glass up the half wall. Cooch tries to get there. Franklin comes in. Amala in his skates. It's pickpocketed by Chase. Chase a chance to get it out of his own end. Chase can't get the clear on his knees, however. Second chance, he'll get it out. The Sun Devils can't get it down the ice. Oklahoma back in. They'll chip it behind Glenn. 33 seconds left on the clock. Olsen picks that puck up, rims it out. Wall sealed by the Sooners, and the Sun Devils will just whip that down the ice. 24.9 left on the clock.
Couple nervy moments for the Sun Devils. Oklahoma kept the puck in, but couldn't really get the puck to the front of the net. And it's a tired Sun Devil group out there. Will now get a break courtesy of their head coach, Johnny Walker, with a timeout.
And a bit of a standoff there. You could see both teams kind of thinking there might be a timeout. The Oklahoma group also tired. However, I don't think they would have turned their noses up at an offensive zone draw with a very tired Sun Devil group. So both teams probably a little happy here to get a chance to catch their breath. Head coach Johnny Walker laying out his final instructions for Arizona State. And Brett, what do you expect to see here off the draw if the Sun Devils are able to win the faceoff?
I expect them to clear it right away and get a fresh group out to kill off the rest of this 24.9 seconds in this third period.
Now, we saw last night the Sooners with that lead late in the third. They were not shy to just rip it down the ice and were taking multiple icings in a row. Arizona State, however, they may not want to do that with a tired group already stuck on the ice.
I know the analytics play is to try and go ahead and go for that gaping 4x6, but for me, I'm more old school. I just want them to go ahead and chip it out, chip it off the high glass, not allow a set play opportunity off a face-off for the opposing team.
Chase will lean in for Arizona State defensively. Face-off won by Chase. Olsen down low, picked up by the Sooners. The Sun Devils struggling to clear it, and that puck will be deflected out of the Arizona State end with 18.5 left. Another offensive zone draw coming here for the Sooners. Chase, the centerman once again. Spear, the centerman once again for Oklahoma. Chase and Spear lane in. Chase won the last draw. This time Spear wins it. At the point, Oklahoma one-timer for Amala, saved by Glenn. The Sun Devils whack away at it with a high stick. However, Glenn, in an attempt to push over to his right and get the save, knocks the net off the moorings.
Sun Devils get a collective breath as that net gets knocked off its moorings. And for the Sun Devils, a big, crucial face-off here with King on his strong side.
King now on his strong side. Charlie Blake on his strong side. 11.9 on the clock. In a one-goal game, the Sun Devils trying to close this out and get a split on the weekend. Oklahoma trying to claw back in this and tie the game up. King leans in. Won by the Sooners. Turnaround shot saved by Glenn. Bacham takes a shot from Kylie Ram behind the play as the linesmen come in to settle things down.
Oklahoma winger has to be careful as he doesn't want to take a undisciplined penalty with his team down a goal.
Kylie Ram may be a little fortunate not to have a call assessed against him as he'll get called for a change. 8.3 on the clock now. King leaning in against Blake once again. Net empty for Oklahoma. King wins it for Arizona State. Marchand tries to get the clear. His pocket's picked by Amala. 3 seconds on the clock. At the point, the Sooners can't keep the puck in, and the Sun Devils walk away with a victory here tonight.
Unbelievable job by the Sun Devils. They outplayed Oklahoma for the majority of this hockey game. And although it doesn't show up in the scoreboard, they did an unbelievable job of sticking to the game plan from head coach Johnny Walker and believing in themselves and in one another and end up walking away with the W.
The goal song starts to play out here at the Mount America Community Iceplex as both teams line up to shake hands. A time-honored tradition at the end of every contest between two teams. And you know both of these teams are going to be breathing heavy tonight heading back to the locker room. Neither team left anything to be given on the ice. A great effort, two immaculate back-to-back games here of WCHL action.
Absolutely, it was a treat to behold. Sooners have to tip their cap to them. They're able to come into Tempe and split the weekend, which is always the initial goal for the visiting team. And I was really impressed by how the Sooners played. Definitely not an easy team to go ahead and play against.
And the final handshakes commence in the center ice with the officials now. Head coach Johnny Walker very happy to get the victory tonight, as he will go back to this locker room with a happy group of Arizona State Sun Devils as we welcome you in here for the final few words tonight. And partner, a very exciting game tonight. I don't think we really expected much different, but both teams really delivered.
I think coming into the weekend, we knew in the rankings, both of these teams were kind of in that same area. Oklahoma had a good start to the season, but they haven't really played any of the top opponents in the ACHA, so we were wondering how they were going to come out against an Arizona State squad that has faced some of the tougher opponents in the league. And it was a great weekend of hockey. We saw in Game 1 and in Game 2, Arizona State answering back with a win of their own. Really love the fight that they showed, grinding this game out, like I said, the whole broadcast. And it's something that they can really look back on and say, hey, guys, we have some confidence now that we can go ahead and play against a tough opponent like Oklahoma, where you get nothing easy and walk away victorious.
And the Sooners, they were looking to try to get the sweep this weekend. Luckily for them now, they go back home. They're going to have 6 consecutive games in the confines of their home state, playing 5 of those on home ice, 1 against Central Oklahoma. And you have to think for the Sooners, a little bittersweet here walking away from Tempe, Arizona tonight.
Definitely was. They had a chance to win in this hockey game. But again, just those margins of error when you're in a tight hockey game. Unfortunate blowing a tire there for the defenseman Carr, as he had a great weekend of games, ended up costing that goal for his Sooners team. But Sooners have to be positive, too, coming out of this weekend.
And Arizona State, meanwhile, they put on a great effort tonight. And Brett, a good majority of this game, too, was played for Arizona State shorthanded.
Yeah, it was really impressive on the special team side. A lot of power plays for them. That's probably something I think Coach Walker's going to be looking at this week to really improve upon and really round out for his team. But the penalty kill, very, very impressive showing by them.
Yeah, and Arizona State, there's certainly a lot of players I think you can look at tonight that played a quality game for them. And now it's time for you, Brett, to let everyone know at home, after a big Sun Devil victory, who is your player of the game?
It's going to be the forward, the super senior, number 13, Tyler Kylie Ram, assisted on the game-winning goal to Jake King. And it was something evident at the start of this game how much energy and juice he had. He had a couple new line mates, and from there it really unlocked, I think, something in his game. It's his speed that really impresses the coaching staff, and he was able to showcase that. And with that hustle leading to that goal, being able to take advantage of the turnover in the offensive zone and handing it over to King for the game winner.
Tyler Kylie Ram doing a lot of good things tonight that aren't going to show up on the score sheet. but certainly will not be missed by his teammates. And a huge win for Arizona State tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in the last 2 nights. A lot of exciting action here in some great WCHL action. Shout out to Chris Perry, who I know is watching out in Oklahoma. And also a special shout out to a few special people who make this broadcast possible each and every night. Our statistician tonight was the one and only Doc Cooper. Our producer back at Network Central was the illustrious Elena Vaughn. Our on-site producer, coordinator, director, extraordinaire, do-it-all was once again the great Dr. Ben Smith. And our eye in the sky, our quality control engineer, the great Alan DeGucci. Thank you, Alan. On behalf of my partner, Brett Vaughn, I am Niall Cooper, reminding you one final time of tonight's score. The Arizona State Sun Devils 2, the Oklahoma Sooners 1. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube.